Good morning, good people. I'm Father Joseph Mary, and today is a very special day for Franciscans around the world because we're celebrating the feast of St. Francis of Assisi. When I was first beginning to discern my vocation, I knew very little about St. Francis aside from garden statues and bird feeders that I'd seen. I'd been visiting the diocesan seminary in St. Louis for several months, but it was never felt like the right fit for me. And then I was on a pilgrimage, and I happened to come across a group of men in long brown habits and the white knotted cords. And it prompted me to read more about this medieval saint who had inspired so many followers. And so one day I found a copy at the library of Francis of Assisi, A Revolutionary Life by Adrian House. And I was reading it in my Jeep in the parking lot. And there was a certain line in the book that said something like, "The poverty of Francis was that he had no attachments, neither to men nor to the things of this world. And so he had a radical freedom to follow the will of God wherever it led him." And I remember in that moment my own heart burning with conviction. That's what I want. That's what I'm supposed to do. And this led me eventually to the Capuchins. Archbishop Charles Shapiro, former Archbishop of Philadelphia and himself a Capuchin friar, he once said that he found Francis irresistible as a person and his approach to the gospel so clean and simple and clear that it was hard for him to imagine choosing any other way of life. He said we have to do more to make Francis known in our times, because once he's known, people will be inspired to imitate him. A couple of weeks ago here in Denver, we had a vocation discernment retreat for several young men. And again, these men were relating the same experience. Francis of Assisi was someone each of them could relate to. Francis was a real person with real dreams and real struggles. He longed for greatness in his own life, as we all do. He suffered bitter disappointment and disillusionment. He struggled with the purpose and meaning of his own life. He went through a period of grave illness to the point of near death. And he wrestled with loss and lust and loneliness. And yet, despite all of this, Francis became a great saint. Because no matter what his past or his woundedness, he didn't stay there. He didn't stay in the shame and in the regret. Francis brought everything he had ever been, everything he was, and he surrendered it radically to Jesus Christ. Jesus became his sole focus, the central driving force of his life, to such a degree that he could say, "You are my God and my all." And so on this special feast of St. Francis of Assisi, we honor the legacy of our founding father. Let's strive to do everything that we can to make St. Francis more widely known, because he's truly a saint for our times. Have a great day.